Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Camera.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Insightful conversations about our industry, both in Ghana, Africa, West Africa, international. Well, things affecting, things propelling, things, initiating things, innovating, anything that helps our culture. When I say our culture, I'm talking about our creative arts. Before we jump into the big conversation this morning, real quickly, let me also remind you that it pays to keep money in the family. You know that, right? And why am I saying that? I'm talking about ZPay to ZPay conversations. Now, if you send money from one ZPay mobile money wallet to another ZPay mobile money wallet, you get a bonus. Now you can switch to ZPay mobile money and get more and pay less. Receive a bonus every time you send money from ZPay to ZPay, like they say with ZPay, Jimmy D. Now let me tell you how to do this. Just dial *270# and press 2 if you want to send money, and then you can chop your bonus. Easy does it. Get ready for an unforgettable experience with the Calabash Art Festival. It's on September 9th at the Untamed Empire. It starts at 12 noon. Now there'll be likes of Mr. Drew, Kwamina MP, Sefa, Dope Nation, Banzi, Banero. Remember that guy, right? He was also at our 200th celebration of our episodes of Culture Daily, and Maya Blue, and many, many more. Witness an incredible display of energy, talent that will leave you captivated throughout the event. You can get your tickets for the unforgettable experience, you can get your tickets for the Calabash Color Festival at Frankie's Oxford Street Poke House in Airport, Front Back Neneba Estate, Nalem Clothing, Accra Mall, or simply just dial *711 *11 *44 #. Again, *711 #. *711 *11 *44 #. *711 *11 *44 #. I repeat one last time. *711 *11 *44 #. Ticket prices go for $150 for regular, $250 for double. VIP inquiries call 053 1145 603. 053 1145 603. Each ticket comes with 2 color pouches to enhance your experience. Calabash Color Festival, live and colored. Also, brush your teeth morning and evening with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, because if you don't, when you eat food, it gets trapped between your teeth, leads to foul breath, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Okay? Now, Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives you the maximum cavity protection, 10 times stronger teeth guaranteed, because it's fortified with pro-fluoride and micro-calcium ingredients that help seal tiny and invisible holes in your teeth. Now we're talking Betway as well. Go for gold and bet risk-free on the new season with Betway. Use the golden booking code found on the Betway site on selected match weeks from 11th of August to 3rd September and get 100% back as a free bet on any losses. Isn't that sweet? You always get way more with Betway. Betway, get way more. Terms and conditions applied. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. I'll tell you more about NLA's 590 Mobile Plus. The new stuff you can do with 3Music and Yango if you're a first-time user. Let me just tell you quickly, okay? Now you can get 20% off if you just download Yango right now and use a promo code 3Music. You get 20% off your first 2 rides. It's only for those who are jumping on the app for the first time. So try it out right about now. I'll tell you more later on the show. Now this morning our conversation is very, very interesting. So still feeding off the substance and essence bite from Burna Boy sometime last week on his convo with Zayn, right? I forgot the last name.
Zayn Lowe. Yeah.
On the substance and essence with regards to Afrobeat music. Now it's spiraled into many areas where now pundits, industry folks, stakeholders are re-looking at this essence and substance conversation. In recent times, we've heard a lot of artists also creating new genres under the whole Afrobeats. New names or genres, I can't tell. Some say Afro-Fusion, some say Afro-Wave, some say Afro-J, some say Afro-Groove. So many Afros, just because the name Afro represents Africa, so anything can precede the Afro you put there, right? So there's a tweet from one of the stakeholders as well, former worker of Twitter, who's also now part of the founders of Jambo Spaces, our brother Meister, with his Twitter handle or X handle, Meistermind. And I read this tweet on the screen that says, having a unique sound doesn't mean modifying a genre to suit you. I understand we all want to have leave a legacy, but first thing is moving in a concerted effort to get Afrobeats recognized. Let me start again. It says, having a unique sound doesn't mean modifying a genre to suit you. I understand we all want to leave a legacy, but first thing is to move in a concerted effort to get Afrobeats recognized. Stop confusing the world. What is all this Afro-Fusion, Afro-Juju, Afro-Read, can't say the last one, Afro-SMH, if I can say that. And that was a tweet from Meister as well. We're going to talk about these creations that artists are leaving behind, all in the quest to what we exactly don't know, and why they are all not feeding under the Afrobeats name, if we so claim that this is what is leading the new era for African music. Also, a tweet coming out from Benson, aka or FKA Buju, or FKA Buju. Yeah. Hey, I tried, please. My mind was on point with that. A tweet coming out from Benson, FKA Buju, as a shade indirectly to a tweet back in 2016 from Davido, when he says Davido called his music Afro-Fusion. Even in that, Burna himself had been calling Afro-Fusion for way many years before that, before Davido also stamped on it. So what is happening to Afrobeats? We want to talk about this morning on the show as well. Let's, now that you have this at the back of your mind, let's have a roundtable conversation on it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. If you had a book called Africa, they would be any has as we are here, Chad, Niger, Mali, Burkina, and Co are trying to come together to form a coalition, plus Russia. People waving Russian flags and co. That's the updates I have on my side. From my side, I don't know about you though, but last time I checked, we don't have any Nigerian artists coming out doing Afrobeats. Right? We haven't had any prominent Nigerian artists.
Down is Afro-Coup.
Serial.
Or Afro-Gao.
As you said, there's no butu. I will bring the butu for us.
I wonder what is happening with, or what the conversations will also be like from countries like Ivory Coast, where Premier Gawo and Co. Is it from Ivory Coast? Afro-Gao.
Yeah.
What they are saying with regards to all this about what we are going through as well.
Wow.
But let's talk about it. I mean, it's of growing concern. For me, I would ask a question. So what is happening to Afrobeats? Is it right for all these artists to try leaving these legacies by recreating Afro names? Is it right? Is it okay because they say music evolves? Or should Africa really take a look back at the Afrobeats, which me, myself, and I don't even fully support in total, because I say that it is going to crash. When I said that crash is going to happen, some pundits were after my head for saying it will crash. He said, no, it won't crash, to evolve. So it's Afro-Fusion and Afro-Juju evolution, or the crash of Afrobeats. Cyril, your hand was up for the BET question.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer that question? 1, 2, or 3? All three.
All three.
All three. Yeah. You can go, my brother.
Yeah, camera on me. Good. I think all these subgenres and all these names that you're coming up with, I think they are totally unnecessary. Totally. If there's a percentage bigger than 100, I will put it on the fact that it is totally unnecessary.
Does it look totally unnecessary, or
it's a coping mechanism?
It is okay for us to have different
versions.
It's because
one, we do not produce the.
Any production. You let me just. Like if I continue.
So what?
You've done very, very
Don't worry,
well.
nothing can stop me today.
Fire, my brother, fire.
We do not produce the structures and the institutions that award, celebrate, and perpetuate our creative arts. So we always try to find the chameleon approach. How can we evolve or adapt to fit into to hibdia nonsense to adapt to somebody else's thing, because that person has the structure, or that person has the validation, your Grammy, your BET, your Mobo, your this, blah 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 blah. Everything is external to us. So when we start something at home, our preoccupation is how do we fit into that external thing. So we start switching. Afrobeats, the modern wave of Afrobeats, is all we have in West Africa. There's nothing else. If you approach your Afrobeats music with a fusion production style, it's still Afrobeats, right? If you approach your Afrobeats with a hip-hop style, it's still Afrobeats. Your interpretation of the overarching genre does not allow you to create one. Create one. Because let's look at something like reggae. Buju Banton is reggae. Bob Marley is reggae. Sizzla is reggae. Jimmy Cliff is reggae. Right? But if you listen to Buju and Sizzla, it's two different sounds.
But still reggae.
It's reggae. Full stop.
Jamaica reggae and
West reggae, right reggae, because everybody, and it stems from a point of insecurity and a lack of faith, because you realize that you are in such a big space that it will take so much for you to make a mark and leave that legacy, that you know what, instead of playing in this big arena with everybody else, let me set up my small corner and I will be founder and champion of Afro nonsense. So me too, I'll create my own in some corner. We have it all the time. When hip hop was popping in Ghana and people were doing hip hop and rapping as part of the bigger hip hop culture, then we found a way to make it GH rap, because they say the boys, they speak pidgin. So what? How much American hip hop? Drake sings and raps and uses Spanish words.
It's still hip hop.
Is it hip hop Latina? But because people rap in Ghana and use pidgin, or use some moko or some tree or some ewe, so because of that it's now GH rap. But the art form is hip hop. We don't need you to reinterpret it and recreate a sub-genre that doesn't have institutions, funding, or structure to take your GH rap anywhere. Where in the world can you plug GH rap? Nowhere.
Seriously, let me ask you this.
Whoever is it, I'm using GH rap because that's my space.
Yeah.
Anybody who is rapping GH rap, GH rap, where would you plug GH rap in the world as part of the music contributors, the music creators looking to grow your brand as a musician? Where on the planet can GH rap plug back into hip hop? So you see that it's a total unnecessary move. And we see that happening every time somebody has a unique interpretation of a popular genre. They try and create a sub-genre and own it. It doesn't matter. Your expression or your dynamism within a genre does not entitle you to create a sub-genre. That is a problem that is watering down our art. Because imagine, all these sub-genres, if everybody came together under one umbrella, it'll be a much stronger, much powerful, much more dynamic, more diverse umbrella. Chris Brown is R&B. Whitney Houston is R&B. Mariah Carey is R&B. Keith Sweat is R&B. Cassie was R&B. Look at the diversity of these artists. But they all make R&B the juggernaut it is.
Okay, so let me ask you, if in case you know,
I know.
What is Afro-Fusion?
I have no idea what it is. I know that I don't know what it is because it's nothing.
So what is Afro-Fusion? We've heard of Afro-Fusion. I want to ask who can help break it down.
Music.
What Afro-Fusion
Listen.
is.
anything that is anything, right, that takes more than one element, right, to create is by definition of the word a fusion.
Yes. So what's Afrobeats? I wanted you to finish.
Afrobeat is a fusion, taking traditional African-styled instrumentations, rhythm patterns, drum patterns, and executing it with music styles that might be foreign to Africa.
Is that Afrobeats or Afrobeats?
We're talking
what we are doing today. What
we are doing today is Afrobeats.
What David and Benna and Wiz and everybody, Promise and everybody is doing.
No, I just want us to differentiate it, because you know that Afrobeats is Fela.
Let's leave
then
Fela.
Afrobeats is what we are doing now.
Let's draw the line with the S. We are on the S1.
Okay.
The beat, let's leave it alone.
I think for the sake of the conversation, we'd have to play the videos from some of these superstars who are looking to champion these sounds and listen to the explanations themselves.
Okay,
bro. You know, so when we listen to the explanations,
okay.
CK,
what does? Can you help me out with what
CK says? His own is Emo Afrobeats.
Emo,
which we
IMO.
No, Emo.
The fact that people go on podcasts and say this thing doesn't mean we should take them seriously, bro.
No, but they are the ones saying them. They are the ones.
Unfortunately, they're the ones
say we are not telling them they should.
Okay, so wait, help me out. CK says what?
CK says his own is Emo Afrobeats, which we call as Afro-Rave or Afro-Nisio.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, I'm coming. One second.
As Odumodu Black, he says it is a vibe for him.
Afro vibe.
Rema says it is Afro-Rave.
Afro-Rave.
Yes. Afro-Rave. Bro. Fireboy on the other hand says
Afro what?
You go on.
I don't remember what he says. Benna also says his is Afro-Fusion. So these are guys who have obviously.
Are any of these genres institutionalized? Is there anybody, and when I say body, I mean institution, that awards any of these things?
Obviously not.
But someone starts it.
All right, so
that's why I want us to just.
You don't get it. The one you start.
Yes.
The one that is established, that is in the system, that is recognized.
It's Afrobeats.
It's Afrobeats. And we are not done maximizing 10% of that potential. And now everybody who is a leader in that space is doing their own hyphenations.
I don't think they are leaders in the space.
They are leaders in the space.
They are participating. No, they are participating in the space. And that's how come if you're a leader of a space, you would want to push that. But if you're a participant in the space, that's how come you would get to now to branch out.
Afro-Emo. Let me explain something to you.
Afro-Emo or Afro-Rave or Afro-Fusion or whatever.
See, the emo something, no? Bro, the emo something. You say who say emo?
CK.
He's an Afrobeat artist. His style of writing and performance is melancholic. It's like Phil Collins.
I mean, it's like how Haja Binti took over the weekend. She's a woman. Let's watch the video.
The first emo Afrobeats artist.
Absolutely.
Chest.
I love that. Not even like, well, I mean, I haven't heard of anyone before. You just
he said.
I mean, I practically came up with the name emo Afrobeats.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
When next man start doing it, how's that gonna feel?
I pioneered something and someone else is doing it. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Will it? What about when they don't give you no credit?
Do they have to give me credit?
Well, I was just about to say that.
I don't think
it's
so.
like.
Do you know Fela Kuti?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know he's the originator of Afrobeats, practically. So everyone else who's been making Afrobeats since Fela, whether they acknowledge it or not, it does not stop Fela from being the originator of Afrobeats. In fact, emo Afrobeats is kind of me building upon what he built.
Right, okay.
And taking it to like my own specific zone.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
added the S to let me just go back.
Let me help you.
Who added the S?
See, guys. There's two things that defines the genre.
Yeah.
It's either the genre name is representative of where the music is coming from, or the technical elements of how the sound is produced, right? You can never produce jazz with a rock drum set. Are you following me?
No.
Jazz. If I say jazz,
no,
right?
That one with the bab.
You but you can do hip hop. But you can do hip hop like we've seen Linkin Park and Busta and Jay-Z and Wayne do hip hop with all sorts of elements, because it's for hip hop, right? It's about expression, not about technicality. That's the difference between jazz and hip hop. One is about the technicality of the sound. One is about the expression of the sound. Afrobeats is demographic. Afrobeats refers to Afrobeat, Afro-Fusion, and Afro-pop. The amalgamation of these three things. Any sound that fits any of these three things coming from West Africa is Afrobeats. So if you want to be sad and you are making popular music from West Africa, it's Afrobeats. If you want to be hyper and you are making music from West Africa, it's Afrobeats. Your mood, your form of expression, your method of expression, your instrumentation does not matter so far as it is coming from this demographic
of Africa.
That is how it's like saying Indian flute music, right? Mm-hmm. You cannot produce Indian flute music for me sitting somewhere in Texas. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? It's like Kwaito. You cannot have Kwaito. Kwaito is shackled and glued to South Africa. You get what I'm saying? The same way when I say Bobobo, which is a type of music, you know what it means.
Yeah.
When I say Adowa, dance form, you know what it means.
Yes.
That is how Afrobeats is meant to encapsulate us West Africans and the modern pop-driven sound we are creating.
So hold it right there. So the question that I'm asking is, so who?
Afrobeats.
Who? You see how we are still talking about the hip life, a hip life person who said hip life?
This question can, who named jazz? Who named rock?
No, but I think Olele has history to it.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. As much as there might be a history or a name, I'm just saying that it's another kind of worms. Because the moment you put a name to it, people will poke holes in it. Why is that person I want to determine for? So hear me out. Hear me out. Who created the name hip hop? Nobody cares. Who created the name R&B? Nobody cares. Who created the name jazz? Nobody cares.
The moment
I say Lenny, the moment I say Lenny is the one who created jazz, people now Lenny, what Lenny know about music? Lenny will go determine for we, blah blah. They will use Lenny to discredit the genre. So as much as you have the history and the name, no, I wouldn't want us to sway to who named it. The fact is that the name day, we have never questioned, why do we do this to ourselves? We've been listening to R&B for God knows how long. We've never, no radio station,
maybe
no Ghanaian fan.
When they started, they were
maybe
questioning.
No Ghanaian artist, no Ghanaian fan, Jay, no African artist, fan, pundit, show host, media platform has sat down and said, who named R&B? Nobody cares. We celebrate it and we embrace it. Nobody sat down and says, who named rock music?
Because these are genres that have gone like way back. It's for years.
And the mystique of it keeps it alive.
All I'm saying is the Afrobeats conversation has become necessary, and for us to know its history because of the different branches that have now come out from the Afrobeats tree. Right now we are branching into Afro-Rave, Afro-Areho, Afro-pop, Afro-Fusion, Afro-Nisio, Afro-Bobobo, Afro-everything.
We can pinpoint the people who are
exactly.
So here's the differentiator. Here's the differentiator.
Olele wanted to mention that. Olele wanted to mention that. So then he should just now take us through, because it's important to the conversation where now we need to know when Afrobeats from Fela became Afrobeats with an S, which has now quote unquote corrupted or evolved to all of these other branches.
So I put out a tweet asking viewers to help. If you've got any history, we're going to share ours. If you've got any history as well to the name Afrobeats and how it happened, you can share with us on the Twitter handle. But let me hear from Olele.
Afrobeats, the name or the creation of Afrobeats, it's public knowledge, because it's something that we've talked about over and over again. Afrobeats was created by Fela. Okay, that is Fela's trademark. When Fela came to Ghana and you listened or you heard the high life music and you heard the jazz that was being played here, you know, he spoke to his Ghanaian Nigerian manager that, look, bro, we have to do something and call it our own. We have to Africanize this sound as much as possible. And then the manager said, why don't you call it Afrobeat? Okay, and that was
Fela's manager.
Yes, Fela's manager.
So that was Burna Boy's grandfather?
No.
I thought you said Burna Boy's grandfather.
No.
I was road manager.
Yeah.
But manager, road manager. Sometimes when you say manager,
Still
don't
manager,
qualify.
yeah.
We
So
get that confusion. So that was how Afrobeat was coined. Fela called it Afrobeat, and then it became a global sensation. Years down the line, Afrobeats, right, which is what we are all a part of by the grace of God, was coined by DJ Abrante in the UK.
We will get DJ Abrante here. We will try and get DJ Abrante.
I mean, DJ Abrante has
tomorrow and see if you can hear the story from the horse's mouth.
Well, he said it in countless interviews. Anyways, it's just that he doesn't get enough credit. But DJ Abrante coined Afrobeats just to represent the sounds from Africa, because at the time in the UK, whilst he was on radio at Capital Extra, right? I got it right. Capital Extra, yes. He together with other DJs were playing songs from Africa, but they needed an umbrella name to, identify with the collective, that identify with the music that was coming, right? And he came up with the name Afrobeats with the S. So Afrobeats became.
Shall I even challenge something real quickly? I don't know about playing African music, but we'll ask him. We'll try and get him on a show one of these days so we can. But I know Abrante was also championing Ghanaian music on Capital.
I'm not.
I want to see if I can lie and say that he was. I want to see if I can lie. To see the truth. I want to see if I can lie and say that maybe he was qualifying our music and then.
There are some people. There are some people in the diaspora. When you speak to them, they also argue that even before DJ Abrante led the charge with Afrobeats, there were events that were being held in the UK or in the diaspora community by DJs as a collective, such as DJ Neptune and the rest, and they were calling these events Afrobeats events, which also inspired. There's a belief that was what inspired DJ Abrante to call the sounds from.
Abrante says on his Instagram, the man who popularized Afrobeats.
Yes, with the S.
Okay, popularized.
Yes,
not invented the name.
No, by the end of the day, it's the same thing that we talk about.
But I just want. we'll try and get him on the show.
Yeah, he puts it that because, like I said, this was a name for those who lived in the diaspora community at the time. When you speak to some of them, they argue that the word Afrobeats was in vogue in that space. All right, so DJ Abrante, inspired by that, decided to call, if you are playing sounds from, whether it is Kwaito music, whether it's amapiano, whether it's house, whether it is hip life, whatever, why don't we call the collective or the African music collective that we are playing on our radios, our events, Afrobeats, so that we can have a singular genre to have us being identified by. So that was what inspired the name. And then we have seen, the journey of Afrobeat is not even 10 years old, if you are keeping it a buck. Afrobeat is still under 10 years, perhaps 6 years old. Now, when we come to the conversation about the individual genres that are being established, Jay, to be very honest with you, I personally do not have a problem with it. Because if you remember, when Fela was doing Afrobeats at the time, Guy Warren also was actually calling his sound Afro Jazz. At the same time, we were also doing high life music. And we've always had this conversation and argued that Afrobeats is the same as high life music, because high life in itself is a fusion. We say Afrobeats is, a fusion, or it's a combustion of, Western sounds in, together with African rhythmic melodies and whatnot. It's the same thing as high life. High life is the same thing as what we are hearing Afrobeats today. But somebody decided to champion a genre, right? And now it's become popularized, okay? But you realize that these genres that later become popularized were genres that have stood the test of time. So today we say you have contemporary pop music, which is a subset of what? Pop music. Somebody can call that, and it's okay because pop music in itself has already established the genre. R&B has established its genre. Jazz has established for years. My only issue is Afrobeats is still a baby.
Too early for us.
It's too early for us to be
tamper with it.
Exactly. That's my only
doing
problem.
Afro nonsense.
You get what? That's my only problem. You can say you are doing Afro Nisuo, Afro Reho, Afro Grief, and all that. I don't have a problem. But as it stands now, what has given? That is why many people were upset with what Burna Boy said in that interview. Because as it stands now, what has given us a ticket into the global music conversation is Afrobeats. Right? So whether you are a high life artist, you are a hip life artist, or whatever, the visa you need to enter
it's
Afrobeats.
For now.
So until we are able to champion it well enough, like we did with maybe High Life, or maybe we did with any of our popular local sounds, why don't we just focus on coming together as a collective to champion it? And that is what has affected, or perhaps has killed, quote unquote, when we come to Ghana. In the Ghana sense, I'm not speaking for any other country, but we noticed that the conversation swayed away from having one agenda into trying to divide, the pioneerism. And I pioneered this sound, and I was a pioneer of this. It is great to be a pioneer of something, but you also need to check the timing, because if we are not careful, we would actually find ourselves in a very retrogressive, space where now the people out there who have given us a seat at the table are wondering, why are we fighting ourselves?
Recreating different
Do you get
versions,
what I'm saying?
models,
you realize
genres.
the interviews you played, right?
Yeah.
These are all Western platforms, right?
Yeah.
And everybody is saying different things.
Yeah.
So imagine if these guys have to write something about the sound. We will come back and tell them that they don't have the narrative right. But we are creating that problem ourselves. Burna Boy couldn't tell the people there what Afrobeat and Afrobeats, the difference between Afrobeat and Afrobeats.
Do you blame him?
No.
Well, I mean, it's not even about blaming, but as a leader of a sound, you should know what you are doing.
That's why I keep saying that they are not leaders of the sound.
No, they
Once
are,
you look
arguably.
to
Burna
me,
Boy, Davido, Wizkid, these are the guys, these are the leaders of the sound globally.
I don't want us to look at them as leaders of the sound. You know why? Because I feel like there's an Afrobeat tree, right? That everyone is tapping from and branching out of, right? And so when you start to look at them as leaders, then you start to put certain expectations on them. But this is the case where we don't even know who is going to now come up later with Afro plus any other genre, right? We don't know. It can be anybody. So to me, I'm like, it's already there. They are just participants, or they're just tapping from or into the genre.
Sometimes
not like exactly like leaders of the genre. That's why now there's the confusion of when Davido is saying he's doing Afro-Fusion. Burna Boy said it earlier that he's doing Afro-Fusion. So right now, who is the leader of it? You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so the reason why I even argued that these are leaders of a sound, or they are champions of the sound, is because these three people, or these select few, were able to move the sound from what it were locally into becoming a global product. So when it comes to that conversation, you give them those honors.
Proponents.
Exactly. But my challenge is, even the Afro-Fusion they are talking about, it's just, I feel like it's just an alias. It's just a moniker of what Afrobeat is. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, my name is J Foley, you can call me TOTU. You get what I'm saying? It's the same brand, it's the same J Foley. So whilst we are looking to establish Afrobeat, once again, Afrobeat is less than 10 years old. We've not even hit a decade, and we are already trying to find. There's nothing wrong with it, but as it stands now, and then out of all the interviews I had, the only interview that I may side with is what Rema said, that I am doing Afro-Rave, but without Afrobeats, Afro-Rave would be possible. That is a good precedent.
Thank you.
So in the future, when Afrobeats has found its rest and the anchor has been set into the sea and it is enjoying itself, Rema can come and champion the Afro-Rave sound as he did in the beginning. And we'll come back to this interview and he's saying that I was championing Afro-Rave. Okay. But there's some people who do not want to be affiliated with Afrobeats.
So let me ask you
at any point. And that's where the problem is.
Let me ask you, like hip hop and all that other jazz and cool, people haven't dared to touch it or change the name in any way, regardless their influence. Jay-Z didn't come and say, I'm doing hop hip. Which is a rendition of hip hop.
Hip dia.
You didn't have Justin Timberlake come and see. He's more like an R&B. What's he doing?
Justin Timberlake,
pop star.
Yeah, pop. Like he's doing pop. He didn't come and just saying that I'm doing pop 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 or pop me.
I gave you the.
He didn't say none of them tried doing that.
Yes, because they were not operating with scarcity mindset.
No, I'm not done with the question. I'm not done with the question. I'm not done with the question. Those genres and that era when it birthed, if those genres and that was birthed now, would people, be it Western artists or African or whatever, would they have tried? Because now people are, where the world is going to naturally, everybody wants to be me.
Yeah,
I'm a me state. Yeah, I want to own something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get some small land, some small piece of space. So would hip hop, if birthed today,
the world
would have birthed new things?
Let me correct your question. The question is wrong.
Hey, I'm asking a question. Hey, my brother.
Let me tell you.
I'm asking my question. I tell you my
Will
question.
you guys shut
up?
Yeah, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why the question is wrong. The question is wrong because in America and in Europe, right, in the same time that we've had Afrobeats artists and African stars form in the last 10 years, we probably had fivefold that quantity of Western stars, and not one of them, not Drake, not J. Cole, not Weeknd, not Kendrick.
You didn't get me.
I got the question. I'm telling you that
I don't understand.
You don't need to hypothesize it that if it was now. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you that as it is now,
yeah.
From the time we started Afrobeat.
No, so my question stands. But you answer it.
Sweetheart, hear me out. Relax. Breathe with me. Breathe in. Breathe out.
No, because my question is.
I'm saying that you don't need to.
From what
you don't need to. Your question is that.
So my context is.
If Drake came today, that's what you're saying.
No.
Okay, answer your question.
If hip hop,
talking about the genres, not the artists.
I said if hip hop were birthed 2 years ago, like whatever it is,
Afro whatever.
Would the artists of today who are practicing it in this modern mindset of self, would they have also turned these names around?
Beautiful, and that's what I'm answering you. That it's only African artists from two specific countries, Nigeria and Ghana, who are running around with hyphens, stamping hyphen on everything. Name one other artist, one other country, one other. You want to read personate? No, tell me, show me. I will leave. Listen, I will leave this. I will leave. Olele, I will get up of this seat right now and give each one of you 5,000 cedis. Yeah, if you can give me one artist from anywhere other than Ghana or Nigeria who is consumed with naming genres and subgenres. When Drake came and Drake was singing and rapping and we couldn't figure out what he was doing, Drake came and won best new rap, best newcomer, and then won best rapper and won pop awards.
No,
and what
but the reason why is
I'm saying that even Drake,
I'm saying that to answer your even the country's question, because
it's only two questions. So
these two countries plus,
and I'm telling you why it's coming. And I'm telling you why it's coming from these two countries.
Influential in the space.
No.
Obviously, I mean
it's those two. It's because it's only these two countries that in the creative art space are suffering scarcity mentality.
No.
That here, let me land my ship, let me park my bus. Lenny. Let me park. Petrol to Ashwin Park.
Park, don't waste fuel.
Very good. Olele, stop like Olele. I go fly something in your direction.
No, let me do it.
Hear me out.
Is it? Don't waste fuel. Go ahead. I'm listening, bro.
Who else is competing with us apart from us? Ghana, Niger. Apart from the two of us making idiots of ourselves on the global stage, who else is competing with us? Nobody. It's this scarcity mentality. And it was what I was saying before we went live. If Afrobeats is so competitive now and the resources are so limited and opportunities are so limited, maybe if Cyril doesn't feel like he can take on everybody in the Afrobeat space, make I do Afro-Real and find my own corner. Afro-Real and find my own corner, so that in my own corner, what can come to me will come to me and only me. The 10 CDs will not go to Afrobeats. And they'll say they are sharing the 10 CDs by stream, and I'll get 10 pesos. Are you getting the mentality? It's a scarcity mindset.
Have you heard of Afro-Zak?
Bro, I've heard of Afro. You have heard of Afro-Zak? Listen, it's Razak Afro. Nobody. Are they doing this in Kenya?
Because they are not majorly part of the conversation. So
that's what I'm saying. That it's not
the people that are part of the conversation.
Why? Listen, it's not an Afrobeats problem. Well, here when D-Crime said we should do hip hop, or we've forgotten. Why are we taking the thing back 10 years? Like it's Afrobeat. Oh, hear me out. D-Crime came out with a hip hop song. Yeah, D-Crime came and listen. D-Crime is my brother, and this is 10, 15 years ago. So it's not. I'm stating it as it is. D-Crime came out with a nice song, which was a pop song that had rap elements. He dropped a verse on it. It was a pop song. We all loved it, right? There was no name to give us. There was no reason to give us another name that could not have structures, that could not build, that could not go anywhere. But for the sake of having a unique identity, the reflex for most artists is, let me name something. So we had trip hop. What happened to trip hop? Same way we were rapping, we were recognized on this continent as hip hop artists. When I had my exposure, nobody was talking about GH rap. Everything that happened to me in this music industry happened to me as a hip hop artist. Nowhere did I travel and I was referred to as a GH rapper. I was referred to as a hip hop act. But because some people were doing the hip hop more than others, some people say, well, let's call our own GH rap. So this thing is not about Afrobeats that came yesterday. It's a mindset that when we feel that we are in a space where scarcity is our focus, then let me do Afro J in my corner so that when they hear me, they won't say I'm an Afrobeats artist and I'm not selling stadium. They'll say, oh, Afro J sold 10 people. That's my portion, so that I don't get yawa. Do you get the mentality? And it's only two nations that are suffering this. Drake, Kendrick, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, J. Cole, they are all rappers.
Hip-hop artists.
But none of these people's music is the same. J. Cole just jumped on a Burna Boy's album. J. Cole is never going to change his genre or his style because he rapped and killed on Burna Boy's song.
Hip fusion.
He's not going to wake up tomorrow and say, oh, because they are messing with me now in Nigeria, so I'm hip fro. No, nobody. It's only two people. Oh. It's only two people. It's only Ghanaians. These interviews you play. Did you play anybody other than Ghanaians and Nigerians?
Did you even play Ghanaians?
Did you play Ghanaians? So this is some nonsense that's happening. It has nothing to do with the bigger picture. We've had genres that have lasted 100 years and have showed us a whole kaleidoscope of varied expressions.
Yeah. St. Peter's Wati.
You understand? We've seen different colors of the same light. The thing is called pop. We've had Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. Yeah. We had Weeknd. Yeah. All of them are pop artists. But if you play Britney Spears, Toxic, and you play Weeknd,
don't add like we don't have.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
We are clapping for the yawa, for the sense.
Yes. When I talk sense, they don't clap. No problem.
No, like
Afro nonsense, bro. Please let me say what I'm saying and hear me well. It's look the thing. If it's a global phenomenon, it will be clear like HD. It's not a global phenomenon. It's Ghana and Nigeria doing another jollof war.
I've listened to it. Well said.
I
want to bring something to. I mean,
Afro Lily.
We've sat in this very room as well, where we've argued heavily about the evolution of music. Music evolving. Music is like a water trying to flow down, finding its path. It will create its path, and you would have people for it. You can't control it. So I beg to ask you guys about the evolution of music. Has music evolved? Has Afrobeats evolved to the space?
Sorry, I have some content for you to be shown on the screen.
Okay. Has Afrobeats evolved to the stage where it is in itself creating all these branches and subgenres? And is it the fault of the brand and the people who are creating it, or it is the evolution? It is happening before us, and we don't like it. I asked that question. I don't know if you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get you. I think it's a tricky question.
Very, very tricky question.
Please ask it again. Ask it again.
It's a tricky question.
Just like water creates its own path without anybody directing it. Just as how we sat in here to talk about how music evolves naturally, people would create it. It births things. Reggie Rockstone evolved global hip hop music to creating one for us called Hip Life. If I can say Reggie Rockstone did it, you understand? And if I had history of jazz and pop and co, I'd share with you. Has Afrobeats music gotten to a stage where its evolution means it's creating subgenres? Because there's Afro, which defines Africa, and beneath that is people's re-rendition of what they feel it's supposed to be for them. And is it wrong?
Do you know where Drake is from?
See, what does
no, I don't care about Drake.
I'm answering your question.
No. My question is not about Drake. I'm not comparing. Let me answer. The question is wrong.
No, okay, no problem.
I don't need Drake.
Let me answer you.
Drake is America and Canada.
Sweetheart.
They don't smoke.
My dear.
Well, how do you say it in Africa? The one that Burna Boy said in his song.
Shayo.
They don't smoke Shayo. And like, how would they do when I bro? I'll come me.
Hey,
because
get me, bro. I'm answering your question.
Yeah, but I don't need Drake.
So I pack Drake. Drake is unpacked.
You see, I packed Drake.
I packed him. I'm saying, I'm saying that who is doing what kind of music is irrelevant.
Why is it irrelevant?
Because if you are in Ghana, right?
I'm playing the devil's advocate.
Yes. If you are in Ghana and you are Wiala and you are doing world music, right? Wiala is not listed anywhere as a rapper, as a pop star, she's listed as a world music artist and performer. Full stop. So where she's from, where she's recording, where she's releasing, is irrelevant to the fact that the kind of music she's doing has a bigger genre that it fits in. Youssou N'Dour was an African, is an African giant, one of the best we've had. Miriam Makeba, Angelique Kidjo, right? Various different countries, different styles, African elements. But these people have won a Grammys, whatever, blah, 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 because they fit into a bigger genre. Imagine if Angelique Kidjo did Afri-Kidjo, and Miriam Makeba did Afri-Miriam, and Youssou N'Dour did Afri-Yo. Oh, let me relax.
Afro-Davido, Afro-Whiskey.
Yes. No, what I'm saying is that forget about Afro-Whiskey. What I'm saying is that if they also listen, what I'm saying is that imagine if Youssou N'Dour, Lady Smith, Black Mombaza, all the Miriam Makeba, all these people I mentioned.
We get it. We're doing names and the Afro.
Imagine if they said that they were coming out of African environment.
I have a question to that for you.
So they would also want to go to the world stage with their own interpretation of their genre.
Yeah.
Would they have been the giants we look up to today?
So I am saying evolution of music. At the point of the names you've mentioned had a certain kind of evolution. And it's lived its era, or are they like?
Yeah. But no, so, evolution doesn't
I'm asking back to you. No, I mean, what I'm saying is that because I have been fought by you guys before about evolution and music evolving, hence why I'm presenting this back to you. That
you see, let me tell you about your hip life problem. Let me tell you what happened to hip life.
I'm not happy with the.
Let me tell you what happened to
I'm not happy with the fact that there are multiple names coming out. But what I am saying is that it is not being controlled. John. No, hold on. No, I'm asking you a question. We have 6 minutes left. I'm asking you a question.
My answer is 4
minutes. Afrobeats is growing. In fact, 7 years ago, maybe when Abrantia was talking about it, what we're hearing at that time isn't what we're hearing today. The culture, the other things you've mentioned and describing what Afrobeats is. It has reached a certain point where the volcanic eruption wants to happen. And it has started. It is shooting. It's not being controlled by you or me.
Bro.
It's Rema waking up and saying that. Rema says Afro-Rave, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming. No. Still, hold on.
You land.
So it is Rema waking up and realizing that, you know what? This is where I have reached. I've reached a certain glass ceiling where I want to redefine a space for myself under the brand.
I want to out.
No, I'm coming. See, let me help you out. Me and you.
Don't help me.
One at a time. And I say one at a time.
Bro.
Then with a crack.
Bro.
And they come, then with a crack. A time has come now. Afronita is shaking her leg to another, and Endurance is shaking her waist to another level.
It's a new type of
dance.
Me
and you know.
It doesn't change the fact that it's dance.
Our fingers are now. This one I know if you do one better. It's still the confused me small.
1 2 1 2
like wiper.
You don't do a lock.
The dance has evolved from the day where the likes of Alligator from Boche Ghetto and things, they crack and things, and they take collect girls, they feel come with them a heart.
Yo, shout out
so I'm saying that
gunshot,
boom. So I'm saying that has Afrobeats reached a point where
ask this question 6 times now. I'm answer the question.
Artist anyway, my shout out from NLK.
You mad? Afro craze.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm asking you. What has evolved more than Western music? Yes, it's true. But apart from that, even Western music.
X-videos.
When you and I was like, just like you are saying, we were cracking.
Brother, you were watching X videos on tape.
Yes,
Then the name was Tarzan or something. Brother, now you are watching
Indiana Jones cassette.
Indiana Jones
at the end. Well, so I'm saying that you are right. Evolution comes with change. Right? But why is it only us that think that change must be?
Is it wrong?
Listen, let me land la. Why is it only us that thinks that change must be divergent or destructive? When you and I were cracking, and Geto was removing his heart for girls, right? Lil Kim, Dabrat, and Lauryn Hill were the definition of female rappers. You and I know what female rappers are today. That is evolution. Hello?
But Afrobeats was also an evolution.
Olele, please, you.
I'm asking you.
No, I don't want to talk to you, bro.
No,
I don't want to talk to you, bro.
I'm asking.
No, Olele, please. No.
I'm even tired.
Olele.
Are they asking?
Olele, bro,
Answer me. Answer me.
They deny your friend request. I say I don't want to talk to you.
No, answer me.
I don't want to talk to you, Jay.
No, the question I'm asking is about what you just said.
Ask your question. You're asking me question to question that question.
The question. I'm asking that Afrobeats by Fela has part evolution to what it is today as Afrobeats.
Yes. No, the two are different.
No, so what?
Afrobeat. Let's put the before. Let me explain it. Then we put the explanations on the screen. This is a very common misunderstanding. Fela's sound was unique, didn't have an identity. Tony Allen and Fela figured out that because we are using these elements and all that, let's call it Afrobeat. Because Fela's music, his writing, his delivery, his sound style.
Fast forward.
All that, great. That was Afrobeat to represent what was being created by one person at that time. Afrobeats today,
popularized by
Abrante, is something that is meant to encapsulate anything
from Africa.
Hear me out. Anything that hear me, relax. Anything that fuses Jay, relax. Anything that fuses African sound elements with any of the Western music genres.
So why would
if I get Chris, if I get Vampire to play me a beat, and I decide to sing like Ed Sheeran on the beat, it's Afrobeats. If I decide to rap like Stormzy on the beat, it's Afrobeats. Blah blah. But what Fela was doing was very unique to Fela's sound. So Fela equals to Afrobeat. That's where that conversation ends. Fela's Afrobeat does not extend to anybody else.
So why would anybody who was creating Afrobeats, of all the names in the world that you could have chosen, decided to still stick with? So that's what I'm saying. That exactly. Listen, in the subconscious, it definitely came from a space.
Charlie, please, let's have the English. Let's have the English on the screen.
Of using an artist
Jay is lying to us. Let's put the definitions on the
African
screen.
music. Listen, Fela's music was a certain, like you've given a certain narrative. And I'm just saying that, just as you're not sure, I'm also telling you
that. You're going to explain, explain.
It is possible that in the creation of Afrobeats, it was identifying an artist like Fela and what he does, being very African, picking it up and then rolling with it. And here we are with an S to it. Even though, for all you know, the Afrobeats thing, it may have been somebody who just said it accidentally that Afrobeats.
And that's what I'm saying, that we need to understand the history of.
We cannot be so casting
the morphing.
Exactly.
Of Afrobeats into Afrobeats.
The S was a change, was a drastic change in the meaning, and it was probably a vibe. It was just vibes. I'm giving you just vibes, LPM.
It may sound inorganic, but that's exactly what happened.
No, Kofi and Kofi's.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it could have been just somebody. I don't think anybody sat down and said that, you know what, any song coming out from Africa with the fusion of American or Canadian culture, we should add S to it, because the S, I think it was just vibes.
Let's have the definitions on the screen so that we can educate the people. Jay is lying to the people.
Hip hop and hip hop.
Don't talk about hip hop.
Exactly.
I'll help you.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Ask me. Okay. We have 3 more minutes.
So I'm giving a typical example, right? The names help us uniquely identify the product or a person. So I take Lenny for example. Leny is what?
Leny. Yes. It's Lenny, but she's learning.
Hold on.
Hers is L-E-R. No, I must correct the girl's name.
This is not. I'm not even talking about phonetics.
No,
Hey, but if phonetics will change the whole game.
No. I'm asking you. Okay, let me just use Jaye. How would you say that?
Jaye.
Don't have Jaye. I mean, I'm going to use Jaye. But you and I know that it's not Jaye. You and I know. It's
I'm
not
African
Jaye.
now.
Come on.
I'll be African
You know
now.
what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying that in as much as we think
Yeah.
that the S did not make much of a difference, it did. Okay? Like Cyril said, the kind of music Fela was doing under Afrobeats hasn't really seen a reinvention or evolution in a way. And I was thinking, perhaps when I was thinking Burna Boy was on that tangent because if you listen to the songs Fela was doing songs that obviously addressed political issues. Fela was one that to be feared. Fela was doing music the way Bob Marley was doing
conscious
music. Maybe just about conscious music, but Fela's music addressed social issues. Fela music was after like people in power and so not. Now there are other people who have done songs like that, but Fela popularized that.
So who else does Afrobeat?
That's what I'm
Africa?
saying. That
Nobody.
Personally, I may not give you examples of that. That's what I'm saying. That when I heard Burna Boy, the way he performs, the way he writes his music, I was thinking that was the tangent he was going on. Because every time he's hold on, baby, Jay, let me land. Please let me land.
No.
Every time he's always likening himself to Fela, right? But in actual fact,
that he does Afrobeat.
In actual fact, what he actually ended up doing was what the Davidos and the Wizkids were already doing, which is Afrobeats. All right, they were not just singing about social issues and whatnot. They were singing about their life, their personal struggles, their visions, their dreams, whatnot. Sometimes talk about girls and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So that conversation about whether the S is having an impact or not, whether we like it or not, it has had that impact. Until we get DJ Abrant here to maybe do a breakdown exactly of whatever happened, I would just say that Afrobeat is still a baby. It's still young. In as much
that
as
one I agree with you 100%. To us to slap it left and right.
Yeah.
Since I have, let me tell them their mics, they can't talk. Since I have the last word, the S no, and the one without the S. Now I want to find which African artist after Fela does Afrobeat. I'm asking you. We'll be right back.
I don't think anybody would even call Afrobeat.
Tomorrow, when we come back, if you ask me,
nobody has dared to even call it.
So what about
sound Afrobeat?
Brimo and Ellie and some songs coming up? Hey, I tell you, if you finish, Brimo tomorrow. We are going. Bye bye. We are going. Bye bye. Watch now.